Don't be too proud of this podcast you've constructed. The ability to rank content is insignificant next to the power of an exceptional hot take.
All right, it's hot takes time. Amanda, what is the take of the week?
So we are going to be switching up our hot take section just a little bit. We have a hard time coming up with original hot takes all the time. And so we figured, who has hot takes? All Star Wars fans have hot takes, don't they? There is no shortage of them to go around. So we are going to be sourcing hot takes from the internet about Star Wars and using that as like our jumping ground to discuss whether or not we agree with it or not. So that way it's not something that we feel like we have to personally be convicted to share, but we can still have a good discussion.
We've almost done 100 episodes. Like, how many hot takes do
we need to source some more.
We're normal-ish people.
Yeah.
We've only got so much to say.
Yeah. And it also takes the heat off of us. So it's not like, wow, Brody said that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So the hot take that I'm sharing tonight comes from Frosty Mac on Twitter. And his hot take is, the Clone Wars is a great Star Wars show that also has an Anakin who is just fundamentally not compatible with the Anakin Skywalker who is present in the prequel films, to the detriment of both the show and the movies. So you kind of talked about that. And I do want to follow it up. There was like a really nice discussion on the thread of that Twitter post, and someone agreed, like, true, but I'm fine with it because the Clone Wars version is way better. And Frosty Mac responded, I think it's up to interpretation. Movie Anakin is less entertaining, but a more realistic portrayal of what someone who would eventually become Darth Vader might be like, an emotionally stunted man with a good heart, but one that burns too harshly, causing him to lock it away. Whereas TV Anakin tends to let his heart take him where it pleases, which makes his path to Vaderhood a bit harder to mentally justify, but is nonetheless a great character.
That's a well thought out argument.
Yeah.
Where do you stand with that?
I totally get it, because when I look at this Anakin, I have such fond memories and love, and that, like, immediately as I saw him and Padme together, I'm like, oh look, everything's great. Like, this is a different reality where like Anakin is actually a good guy, you know? But that's not the case. Like, he's still the same person, obviously. But I think they're both valid. I think it wouldn't be a kid's show so much if Anakin didn't have a little more like spontaneity and charisma in this version of him.
Yeah. I think that's true. I mean, overall, when it comes to which Anakin I like more, it is undoubtedly the Matt Lanter Anakin.
Less creepy.
Yeah, he's less creepy. You see, for me, drive and ego. And I think that, to me, justifies, like, oh, this is very clearly why someone would tiptoe into the path of being, a Sith Lord. Because, yes, he's got this, we see it right here. He's got this love affair with Padme going on. So he's got that going for him. We know he's trying to climb the ranks. We know he's a pretty haughty individual. And, even that line where he's like, I used to build him. No, I take him apart. Like, very prideful individual. And so, it makes more sense when you see him getting rejected positions that he believes he deserves, how that could trigger anger. I don't think it at all translates well from one character to the next, because obviously they're so different in character. So, but you can understand why from his take, why he'd be so mad.
Yeah.
And why even that alone without Padme would be enough for maybe him to consider leaving, like Dooku did. With all sorts of like the failures of the Jedi. And that's what the Clone Wars does so well with, spoiler alert, don't listen if you haven't seen the Clone Wars yet, but with Ahsoka leaving, with all the events of not being able to be with Padme, with rejections to promotions, and with seeing the flaws of the Jedi Order that they showcase in this series, it all makes sense, and he executes it so well. The writing does everything that Matt Lanter's vocal performances. They get a lot better with the digital effects and animation.
And also just like the style of how Anakin is styled and they're like his hair. I don't know what it is, but he just like is Anakin
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So much. Also, I don't know if it was the same for you, but I was distracted by Padme's butt.
What? No, I was not.
It seemed like
I was not.
they like wanted it to be distracting, but I didn't know if
Nope.
that stood out to you.
Nope. I can honestly say it did not come up. But hey, I'm glad that you
Respectfully, I was looking.
All right, there you go. Good for you. I don't know. Overall, I think Anakin's a great character.
Do you think it's a hot take that Anakin is not compatible? Well, hold on. Let's look at this again. Star Wars is a great show that also has an Anakin who's just fundamentally not compatible with Anakin presented in the prequel films, to the detriment of both the shows. And
That's
the
that part that's interesting there, to the detriment of both properties, them film and TV
because they
series.
couldn't sort of figure out one or the other.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, as he said there, it's a fantastic character. And he said it both times, to the detriment of either. I just disagree. I think Anakin in the show is one thing, Anakin in the movies is something else. And it's honestly, I kind of like that there's a little bit of differentiation there, because there is a different voice actor and everything else, but it still feels like it's playing within a very safe box for that character to be in. So no, if anything, I think it makes it richer. I don't think it's a detriment to one to the other. I think it was a well articulated, thought out hot take.
Yeah.
I just don't happen to agree.
I agree that it's a hot take. But I disagree that it's for the detriment.
Yep. I'm with you. All right. Well, username, I don't remember, but hey,
Frosty Mac,
thank you for putting that online. Unfortunately, this one, we disagree this week, but there's always next week.
I got a bad feeling about this hot take.